What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show. Here on a Saturday night, we got a solo stream. It's just me. Eric won't be here tonight, and this is just going to be a little bit of a quick game recap talking about what we saw tonight from your Portland Trail Blazers as they went up against the Utah Jazz in their third preseason game and lose by a final score of 138 to 133, I think it ended up being. Very high-scoring game. The Blazers give up a ton of points in the first half yet again. This was a little bit of a carbon copy of the last game against the Phoenix Suns, but there were some key differences, and we're going to touch on them. We're going to talk about some of the highlights in this game and so forth. Also got the BetUS graphic up because this post-game show is brought to you by BetUS. They're going to be our sportsbook sponsor all season long. They are a leading sportsbook in the industry. They have a ton of options for parlays, live betting, props, futures, all sorts of fun stuff before the season. You can get on things such as Scoot Henderson to win Rookie of the Year. I believe he was plus 250 or plus 350, somewhere in that range. Victor Wembanyama, his odds might have gotten even better. He was minus 110, and he's looked phenomenal in preseason. You can also bet on Malcolm Brogdon's next team, if he's not a Portland Trail Blazer. He didn't end up playing tonight, but you can go over there to BetUS, and if you think he's going to be a Clipper, I think they're the leader in the clubhouse right now for him, then you can go and put something down on it. So thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this post-game stream and being our sportsbook sponsor all season long. They're going to be our picks against the spread sponsor. Looking forward to getting that underway. Man, I'm ready for picks against the spread. That'll start in like 11, 12 days. So it's going to be fun. Looking forward to a fun season with them. Also going to feature some of their things in like pregame videos and try and make it interactive and fun with their sponsorship, so shout out to them. Also, I think this overlay is pretty cool, so I'm just going to leave it up. Anyway, chat, how's everything going? Give me your thoughts on tonight's game down in that chat. I'm curious how you guys are feeling about this team right now, because there's been some good and there's been some bad. You know, the defense has not been good, but you've had some good performances. Toumani Camara, once again tonight, looks really, really good, especially late there. And as a self-stated Toumani truther, I love seeing what Toumani Camara has done so far in limited action in the preseason. But tonight, he has a good game. Anthony Simons goes off. He looked like superstar Anthony Simons that we've seen at times in the past. Hopefully that can become more consistent so he can be considered a star, because I think he's truly one of the more underrated players in the league. In 24 minutes, he has 29 points, 12 for 15 from the field, and 5 for 8 from 3. I don't know what it is, but he really likes playing in Utah. Last season, he had a 45-point game in Utah with like a 23-point game first quarter. I don't know what it is. I know the depth perception's a little different in Utah because their stands are steeper behind the hoop. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe we should renovate Moda and do that for Anthony Simons, because, my goodness, he loves playing in Utah. Plays really well in Utah for whatever reason, and 12 for 15 tonight looked great. Sharp, decent moments off the bench. Still going to be some growing pains with him, but better performance than a couple nights ago. Jeremy Grant, 9 for 12 as well. Offensively, this team had it going. We'll talk about the style of offense because I think that conversation matters, but it was nice to see this team put some things together offensively. Defensively, it's quite a different story right now. They gave up 76 in the first half against Phoenix. Tonight, in the first half, gave up 75. So in back-to-back first halves, they've given up a combined 151 points. That just is not good. For any of you just joining and wondering where Eric is, he is off tonight. It is just me. Went with a little different camera setup because it's just me. Might use this camera setup a little bit more. I kind of like it. And I'm showing off the Timbers scarf behind me. So shout out to all you Timbers fans. I know Connor, our moderator, our resident Timbers fan, will like the scarf in the background. He's the one who got it for me. So yeah, we're gonna hang out, and I'll be able to answer more of your questions than we normally do. Since Eric's not here, I'll talk a little bit more with chat, and I'm really curious how you guys are feeling and maybe how some of the feelings on this team has changed in 3 preseason games. Of course, the first one was against the Breakers. That was a blowout in our favor. Wasn't going to take too much out of that. But now you got a couple of games against real NBA teams, and I think it's becoming clear what the struggles are going to be. And I think the main struggle to start the year is going to be defense because, my goodness, it's just not good. Utah, as a team, shoots 57% from the field and 52% from three, 15 for 29 from three. They did turn over the ball 19 times, so we were able to force some turnovers. But, yeah, Markkanen, easy 26-point game from him. And it was basically just a collection of other guys as well. The Blazers also sent them to the line 44 times. Yeah, just not good. You expect some sloppiness in the preseason, but I do think that they definitely need to make some vast improvements in the next couple of weeks because the defense looks like it's in preseason mode right now. And honestly, it just, I don't even know who to really blame. It just seems like as a team, they're not rotating properly. They're not in the right spot. And it's just kind of a mess, especially off the ball, leaving shooters open. You know, I don't really know if there's any one guy that deserves more of the blame defensively. Just as a unit, they don't seem like they are in sync defensively. They're not helping correctly, fouling too much. Just a lot of little things that contribute to this. Also, Utah hit shots as well. Of course, the Blazers were without DeAndre Ayton in this one, so that hurts on the interior. And then Robert Williams III still hasn't played yet. He's already out due to knee issues. Didn't want to see that happen in preseason. Doesn't sound like it's anything serious, but the thing with Robert Williams is he's been injury prone his entire career, so hopefully he can stay healthy this year. And I understand being cautionary with him in the preseason. You don't want to run him out there and have him get legitimately hurt before the regular season. Hopefully he has this healthy season for us. You know, knock on wood every time I talk about injuries. But Robert Williams III is the type of guy that can help make up for a lot of mistakes. But if guys are fouling and guys are leaving shooters open for threes, it's going to be harder for a Robert Williams III to help make up for those sort of mistakes. So there is a lot of things that need to be cleaned up. Eric, if you are able, you know, I know you had plans tonight. If you're able to hop on stream, let me know and I'll get you in here too and get your thoughts on things. But just this is one of your typical preseason games where there's some sloppiness, but some good moments. And let's start with my guy. Because, chat, you guys love him. I did a video on him, and it got almost 10K views, which I don't get many 10K view videos, but I did a video on Toumani Camara, and it's at like 9.8K, which was very surprising, because then I did a similar video on Scoot, and it's at like 3,500. So, a lot of hype around Toumani Camara right now, and it's deserved. Looked great in Summer League and has continued that into preseason. He looked really good in the first game against the New Zealand Breakers, but of course that's an NBL team. That's not NBA players. And then the first game against an NBA team in the preseason was, of course, Phoenix, and he plays 5 minutes. Only takes one shot, and it's a mid-range pull-up that didn't look good. But he's not really much of a mid-range shooter. So today he gets his first real burn against a legitimate NBA team. You can say it was in garbage time and against bench players, but when you're talking about a rookie who was drafted 52nd overall, like, anything you get out of him is good. Because that's kind of the standard he's held up to. The guys he's playing against. If he's dominating third stringers, that's really, really good for a rookie who you drafted in the 50s or who Phoenix drafted. Toumani Camara tonight ends up playing in 25 minutes. Drops 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. So making some defensive plays there as well. Only 1 turnover. 4 for 6 from the field. 3 for 4 from 3. It's really interesting to compare him with Jabari Walker and Chris Murray. Because going into the season, I would have said out of those 3, Toumani Camara might be the 3rd best 3-point shooter. But so far in preseason, he looks like the best shooter out of the 3. Jabari Walker tonight from 3, 0 for 4. He did some other really good things, though. Was our best rebounder tonight. Was 6 for 14, so 6 for 10 inside the arc. Looks quicker, more spry. I'll talk a little bit about him later on. But Camara, 3 for 4 from 3. You love to see him hit threes like that because that was a question mark for him in college. He finished 36% his senior year, but basically had to work his way up to that point. He was not a shooter starting off in college. So he really had to work on his shot, but man, his form is just so smooth. Every time he shoots the ball, the way he shoots it, I don't know how much of it is because he's a lefty and those guys' shots just look better for some reason. Same thing with quarterbacks, like left-handed throwing quarterbacks, for some reason it just looks prettier. But his form looks picture perfect. It's smooth, good rhythm, good arc, good follow through, like everything you look for in terms of a shooting form that's easily repeatable, because that's what it comes down to when you're shooting basketball, is having a repetitive form that has the same result each time, which is the ball going in the basket. Form is great. And, you know, I don't know where he is as a shooter, but if he can be a legitimate 37-38% guy, I don't know how you keep him off the floor right now. Because as an athlete, like, he's sneaky athletic, man. Had a lob play that he almost threw the ball down on and got to the free throw line because of it. Also showed off his athleticism on a block there. Chase down block, I think it was on Oshai Agbaji. Showcasing the athletic gifts. Defensively, I think he moved his feet decently today. Like, he had some positive moments. Of course, got those two steals those two blocks in that steal. Defensively, I think he can be serviceable off the bat in the NBA. We need more of a sample size to truly determine what he is as an NBA level defender, but so far, I like what I've seen, especially on a team where it doesn't seem like anybody else can really play much defense. 5 rebounds in 25 minutes, I mean, that's better rebounding from your power forward spot than Jeremy Grant will give you. Luckily, he actually got a couple boards tonight in his 26 minutes, but love what I'm seeing from Kamara. I think in an up-tempo offense, he'll look really good, knocking down those threes as well, making the right cut. Like, he just seems like a solid guy to have off the bench that doesn't have a ton of weaknesses. And that is why it's interesting to compare him to a Jabari, to a Chris Murray, is because those guys are similar in terms of being well-rounded guys that hopefully don't have many weaknesses. The thing is, though, in order to be like a good NBA role player, you have to do things well. You can't just be like okay in every area and be a good NBA role player, right? You have to have somewhere where you excel. For Kamara, if that's knocking down threes and being athletic and making plays with his athleticism and then being a good cutter, like, he has areas that I can see him being good enough in as a rookie in order to be an NBA player, an NBA rotation player even. You know, I don't think he'll be anything more than the 9th man. I think the top 8 guys on this Blazer team are locked in, but it is a battle for that 9th man spot. And right now, just given off the preseason I've seen, I don't know how you wouldn't go with Toumani Camara. So I'll give you guys a chat poll, because I'm curious what you think as well. Who would you prefer to be the backup power forward starting the season? We'll do Kamara, we'll do Walker, and we'll do Murray. Anyway, I'm going to read some of your comments. Leave a like on the stream in the meantime. It helps us out. Let's get this thing up to 100 likes if we can. Easiest way to help out the channel. Suda says new camera angle. I figured I'd just switch it up today. I might experiment with this camera angle a little bit more. I kind of like it. It's a little different. A little fresher, you know? So, especially since it's just me, no Eric. We do got Eric in chat. Or he was in chat earlier. So They ran Kamara at some 3 today as well. Like, he played next to Jabari Walker with, I think it was Duop in the game in a lineup. And I think out of the 3 power forwards that we've compared with Walker, Murray, Kamara, I think Kamara is best suited to play small forward. I think he's the quickest, most athletic out of the 3. But he also has more size than both the guys. He's 6'7" flat without shoes. We haven't really talked about his combine measurements. We would have if we drafted him, just like we did with Chris Murray. But 6'7" without shoes. His wingspan is 7.5 feet. So round up to 7'1". Standing reach 8'11". That is, I think, average for a power forward. Like, he has legitimate power forward size. And with how quick he jumps, like, he's able to play, in my opinion, a little bit bigger than his listed measurements. But then also he has the speed, like, he's positionally versatile. I don't know how well he can defend quicker small forwards at the NBA level. But if he can, then you got a guy that you can slot in as a small forward or a power forward. You know, if you trade Malcolm Brogdon, might open up some more perimeter minutes. Maybe Sharp plays more too, opens up more minutes at the 3, and maybe Kamara gets minutes that way. Of course, there's rumors about trading Jeremy Grant, and then you could play Kamara, Walker, and Chris Murray at the power forward position, depending on how many minutes you give each guy. I think that's probably the most optimal thing, because I truly think this team found something with Toumani Kamara. I said it when they traded for him. I think he can be a legitimate player in this league, so maybe I'm a little too hyped on Toumani Kamara, but man, I love what he's done so far. What's up, Allison? How you doing? What's up, AJ, Tyler, Chad? Thank you guys for coming in here. Shady Kiwi says, did you hear Rupert apparently grew over an inch according to someone? He claims multiple people in the front office said it. Hope it's true, but I don't know. I saw Travis Demers say it on Reddit, so I believe it, I guess. But also the guy who that started with also said Ant was 6'5". And then when it got brought up with Ant on his show, I don't know. I don't want to go into that. Like, who knows? Rupert does look big out there, so I believe it. I mean, he looks a little bigger than he looked in Summer League. Also, he looks big because his arms are just freakishly long, but if Rupert's still growing, that's great. Shout out to Braden Tennis with a $5 donation. Says, as tough as this season might go, I'm super excited to watch this young team grow and develop with y'all. Best Blazers community around. Kamara is a dog. Kamara is a dog, man. I love Kamara. Kamara's the type of guy that you get, and he's kind of under the radar. Nowhere near the name recognition as the guys included in that Damian Lillard trade, right? Like Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams III, DeAndre Ayton, Yusuf Nurkic. Like, Toumani Kamara was the biggest afterthought in that trade. I think he could be a real bright spot. And there was a tweet, I think it was from Tom Haberstroh, who's now on Blazer Broadcast, that said Toumani Kamara could be the Walker Kessler of this trade, because Walker Kessler was thrown into the Rudy Gobert trade. Minnesota drafted Walker Kessler and then traded him to Utah in the Rudy Gobert trade. And he was a late first, so he was drafted much higher than Kamara was. But he was kind of looked in as like a throw-in, you know? But that was a really good get for Utah. Like, as a rookie, Walker Kessler was really, really good. And he's a starting caliber center in the league because he can protect the rim. He's not going to make many mistakes. He's not going to try and do too much, and he can finish. Maybe Toumani Kamara is the Walker Kessler of this Damian Lillard trade. I would not be shocked if that was the case. So anyway, 73% of chat out of 124 votes say they would start Kamara. 22% said Jabari Walker, and only 4% said Chris Murray. Which, if you guys know, I didn't like the Chris Murray pick at the time. I still don't like it, but it's fine. You, in the draft, especially as a rebuilding team, you just take multiple shots on guys. And maybe it's not your 23rd pick that hits. Maybe it's your 52nd pick that hits, or your 57th pick from the year before, right? Like, you just take shots at these type of guys and hope you can find what a Toumani Kamara might be, right? Like, Toumani Kamara hasn't made it, but early returns very promising. Tori, you're the Walker Kessler of Blazers media. That's a funny comment. I like that comment. I like that joke. Anyway, yeah, love what we're getting from Kamara. Eric says the funniest part of getting Kamara is he's absolutely perfect for Phoenix. Yeah, I agree. If I was a Suns fan, I'd be very, very frustrated right now that Toumani Kamara was thrown into that trade when you could have made the case that in the Blazers-Suns section of that trade, the Blazers were getting the best player. Right? That was the consensus. Like, Ayton's better than Nurk. Ayton's better than Little. Unfortunately, Ayton didn't look better than Nurk last game, but whatever, right? Like, the consensus is the Blazers are getting back the best player in the deal. They also get back the best young player, who I think could be better than Nas, could be better than... I think he's already better than Keon Johnson. So, I'd be very frustrated if I was a Suns fan right now, throwing Toumani Kamara into that trade, because with the way he's playing, I think he would probably get backup minutes over maybe a Keita Bates-Diop, because he's just a well-rounded guy that will hustle, that will rebound the ball decently, will play some defense, knock down threes, and cut. Like, that's perfect to come off the bench for a team trying to win games. So he would have made a ton of sense for Phoenix. Absolutely agree with Eric on that one. Anyway, enough Toumani talk. We'll obviously recap preseason after our final game, and we played the Suns on the 16th, and I think Tamani will get extended run there, and I'll be live with Gabe on the Suns Valley podcast, so, we'll talk about him, because that's the guy the Suns gave up for some reason. So, who do you guys want to talk about next? I'll run this like a democracy. Let me know who you want me to touch upon next as I kind of dive into the players here. Moses Brown got the start, only played 12 minutes, 1 point, no field goal attempts, 1 rebound, had a couple of blocks. He started this game and they just went right at him and drove right through him. He's the third string big man in the NBA. And then Duop Reith off the bench played 18 minutes. I'm just talking about these guys because I can brush over them pretty quickly. Duop Reith, he can knock down a 3, and he can move okay for a big. The problem is he's not really a big. He's just not big enough. And he doesn't really have a chance at being competitive defensively in the NBA because he's not the most athletic guy. He's not a Robert Williams. Doesn't seem like his wingspan, the length of his arms is super long. Height-wise, he's not the tallest. He just looks overmatched. Much like Trendon Watford did at the center position. The thing is, Trendon Watford could dribble, could pass, and the Blazers cut him. So, that wasn't good enough for him. Duop Reith is a two-way guy at best. Probably a G League guy. It's really tough for him to play the center spot, and it's not even anything that's his fault, that's the tough thing with guys of his size, is they're just a little bit too small to be NBA caliber centers. And he's not somebody that makes sense skill-wise at a power forward position. He's not somebody that I think would really do a good job guarding the power forward position, so he's just kind of one of those guys, and there's always a bunch of these guys that is stuck without a position. He'll have a good moment here or there defensively, but it's just tough for him to be consistently solid on that end, given the lack of leaping ability and lack of size. So people want Scoot, and Eric says Scoot, and no offense, chat, but his vote counts a little bit more. Okay, so Scoot tonight plays 33 minutes, 17 points, 8 assists, only 2 turnovers. So improved on the turnovers. Also 8 assists, you love to see that. Had a couple really impressive passes. My favorite pass of the night was that one-hand zip pass to a popping Jeremy Grant, just because he placed it in the shooter's pocket and got the ball to Grant so quickly. That's a part of being an NBA point guard or a really good passer, is hitting shooting pockets of your shooters when you kick the ball to them, and then also getting the ball to them as quick as possible without telegraphing it, because you don't want the defense to anticipate the rotation and get out there. If you're able to make really quick passes without letting the defense anticipate them, it's going to give your shooters more time with the ball in their hands to catch and shoot. And also, it makes it a little bit easier to attack closeouts because guys got to close out even faster now. The timing of attacking the closeout is a little bit easier. It just makes it a lot easier on your shooters if you're able to get the ball to them extremely quickly. And that's why I love that pass that Scoot had. It was a second half pass. I think it was early third quarter, just dribbling right and then turning and zipping it over his shoulder. And it might seem like a pretty basic pass, but it's everything you want in a kick-out pass. So, and that's the thing with Scoot, is a lot of the little intricacies of passing the ball he has down at 19 years old. That's really impressive. The rest of his game, 6 for 17 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3. Shooting-wise, there's going to be some rough moments. Utah was going under screens at one point, and Scoot missed a couple of jump shots. He's missing a lot of jumpers short, too. And I wonder if that's a form thing, because he shoots at the top of his jump. Some guys will shoot on the way up, because if you shoot on the way up or right when you're leaving the ground, you have more upward momentum at that point than if you're at the top of your jump, and at that point you're not going up anymore. So Steph shoots it very early in his jump. That's part of the reason why he's able to shoot deep threes so effortlessly. And then also doesn't have much of a wrist bend. Form-wise, I just wonder if if some of his struggles missing short have to do with his form, I'm not saying anything definitive. It's just kind of a thought I had watching this game. So I'm curious what you guys all think of that. But had a couple impressive moments driving the ball. Just not a super efficient game. And efficiency-wise, he struggled in the G League. I expect him to struggle with some of his efficiency this year. That's part of the growing pains. Like, he needs to continue to develop as a shooter and also learn how to use his body a little bit more on drives to shield defenders. But passing-wise, really good game. Getting this team in transition, think he did a solid job of that, even though, you know, the results might not have been great necessarily. I mean, they had a really good offensive night. Let me see how many fast break points they had. So, you know, the efficiency will come. 6 for 17 isn't a horrible, horrible shooting night. The Blazers had 14 points. Felt like they tried to get out and run. Just Utah did a decent job getting back, I guess. I don't know. I am no longer confident in this team being top 5 in fast break opportunities, though, just because these couple of preseason games, they really haven't succeeded in terms of just getting out and running and getting transition buckets. But Scoot, 4 for 10 inside the arc. You'd like him to do a little better job there. And I think as he learns to use his body a little bit more, he'll get more free throw attempts. He had 4 last game, 4 this game. I think in his prime, he's going to be a guy that gets to the line 8-9 times a game. And there's just a lot of little tricks that he'll learn that the top level NBA guards have down that is able to get them those 8-9 free throw attempts a game. I mean, we've seen it with Dame. You know, you look at like a Trae Young, how many times he gets to the line. Just the jumper is going to be a little bit of a work in progress. I don't want him shooting like 5-6 mid-range shots a game, though. If he gets hot from there and knocks down, 3 or 4, okay, shoot another one if they're giving it to you. But I do like him trying to turn the corner a little bit more. I think it collapses the defense a little bit more. I like him better trying to finish at the rim. He's more likely to get to the free throw line. I think good things will happen when he tries to get to the rim. Sometimes it's not there, though, and that's when you got to be able to knock down that 3 especially, because you got to make defenders punish for backing off of you, for going under screens, that sort of thing. So that's the key for him this year. Curious what your guys' thoughts are. If there's anything you think I missed in regards to Scoot. D-Rex says his shot was flat. He just doesn't have much of a wrist bend. Like, at his set point, his wrist is pretty flat. And then on his follow-through, like, his wrist starts to cock back, and then he shoots. He also... I showed it in the video I did on Scoot. I don't know how many of you guys watched that. Did a video on Scoot with some highlights in it, actually, for once. And I showcased how he kind of, like, pops his elbow out when he shoots the ball. There's just a couple of form things that in the future, this isn't something to completely overhaul in the preseason or at the start of the season. Like, you don't want to do that. But next offseason, there is a couple of form things that I would like for him to tweak slightly that I think could help him as a shooter. Because there is a lot of good aspects of his jump shot. I just think there's a couple of things that make his form hard to repeat consistently and also make him strain to get the ball to the rim. James says, random question, how does Scoot's height and standing reach / wingspan compare to Lillard? I think they're pretty comparable. I think Scoot, height-wise, is about the same, and then wingspan-wise, his standing reach is a couple inches longer. Or not standing reach, wingspan. I think Dame had like a 6'7" wingspan. Scoot's reportedly is 6'9". Of course, he didn't measure at the combine, though. I wish Repair could give that inch he's supposedly grown to Scoot. I would love for Scoot to grow another couple of inches, but yeah, I mean, the thing is with Scoot is like there's going to be growing pains, and this is just a season for him to learn what he needs to improve on and for him to develop, in my opinion. And he'll have some really fun moments, like when he almost ended the career of, I forget who he tried to dunk on, but he tried to put a poster on someone today. That was exciting. There's going to be some exciting moments with him. But yeah, it's you'll get some good, you'll get some bad. 4 fouls again today. I would like to see him foul a little bit less. That's another thing. He's had 4 fouls at least in every preseason game, fouled out last game. So that's another area, but big positive, only 2 turnovers in 33 minutes. I think he was more solid with the ball today. Playmaking was a lot better. So, Blazer fan says Scoot needs better finishers to pass to, that's all. Yeah, when he has Robert Williams III and DeAndre Ayton, I think it will be a little bit easier for him as well. I would like for him to have like a 5 that can shoot and pick and pop to give him that space off pick and rolls to drive and get to the rim. I think he could feast with that type of big man. DeAndre Ayton said that he's been told like he can shoot threes. I want to see DeAndre Ayton try and figure things out from behind the three-point arc this year. In his couple of preseason games, he hasn't shot a 3 yet, though. So who knows? But maybe he can become that big, that pops, and hits threes well enough. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I do think having Robert Williams III would be very impactful for this team, though, given how they've struggled defensively, and then just that having that extra lob target for Scoot. I think Robert Williams III is an even better lob target than DeAndre Ayton. So really curious to see how guys play with Robert Williams. Sharp tonight. 29 minutes, 8 for 15 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. Hit a couple of mid-ranges, got going. Struggled a little bit early on, but I think as the game progressed, he got better. And this was the type of performance I feel like we needed to see from Shaedon Sharp. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, 2 steals. I think the Blazers did a good job playing the passing lanes. They had 13 steals tonight. Ant got a couple of them. And that's when you can get out and run. They got a couple fast break layups off that. So if you're going to struggle defensively, you might as well try and play passing lanes, try and get steals, take some gambles. So Sharp, I thought he was solid today. Still defensively, he's not a good defender. He's still, I think this year he's still going to be a below average NBA defender. Long term, I do have hope he can become solid. I don't think he'll ever become a guy that's like really good on the defensive end. He's athletic and he's a little bit taller than like CJ McCollum was, Anthony Simons is. So I think with those gifts, he has more of a chance to be good defensively. It's still just a work in progress. There's a couple of moments where he just got beat off the dribble and didn't really seem to try and finish off the play. Or he just accepted the fact that he was beat. And those are the type of moments that kind of make me cringe a little bit. Like if you get beat, try and make up for it, you know? Don't just give up. Don't just accept that you've been beat off the dribble. But offensively, this was a good game from him. 6 for 10 inside the arc. Got going off some mid-ranges. Which, speaking of mid-ranges, how many mid-ranges did we shoot tonight? If anybody knows, let me know. Because it felt like it was a ton. And just looking at the shot chart, oh my goodness. Looking at the shot chart, we shot probably... Goodness, I don't even know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Probably like 15 shots from 10 to 15 feet. And Utah shot maybe 4. All of Utah's shots were basically 3-point line or at the rim. And we shot a ton of mid-ranges. Especially with the starters. Like, Scoot shoots mid-ranges. Sharp will shoot mid-ranges. Jeremy Grant will settle for mid-ranges. DeAndre Ayton, when we get him back, probably shoots more mid-ranges than almost any big in the league. Ant will shoot a mid-range here or there. Like, we got a lot of guys that will shoot mid-range jumpers. And I don't hate the mid-range shot. I'm not like some super analytical statistics nerd that cringes every time someone shoots a mid-range shot. I just don't like settling for mid-range shots. I think the mid-range shot should be used to keep defenders honest. Like, when you start driving, you don't want defenders to be able to kind of like turn and run and meet you at the rim. Like, you want them to be scared of you pulling and hitting that mid-range shot. I think it makes it a little bit easier to drive past them. I don't know how good this offense can be if we're shooting like 15 to 20 shots a game from around 15 feet. Because in the end, it's a good mid-range shot is like 50%. It's still a 2-pointer. It's still 1 point per shot. Like, it's the equivalent of shooting 33% from 3. Which isn't a good 3-point percentage, you know? So, it's going to be interesting to see on a legitimate sample size, like how many mid-range shots we shoot and what percentage we shoot on them. If we shoot a really good percentage, then I guess it's fine, but I don't know. I don't know what we shot on mid-range tonight, too. We did hit a few of them. We did hit a decent amount of them. Like, we shot the ball decent tonight. Jeremy Grant hit a couple, Sharp hit a couple, Ant hit a couple, Ant hit 3 of them. So, you know, it was fine for tonight, but let me know what you guys feel about the mid-range shooting. You know, I don't really know how to feel about our shot diet right now, and that's where I just need to see like a 15-game sample before I have a legitimate opinion on it. But it's like, do we have the most athletic team in the league? We're probably top 5 in athleticism in the NBA. We should probably not be in the top 5 in mid-range shots attempted. Right? Like, if we're that freaking athletic. So, and we got some guys that can shoot the 3-ball. It's not like we're a terrible 3-point shooting team. So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I want these guys getting to the rim. I want to throw lobs. I want to get out in transition and just put that pressure on the rim. And that was an emphasis of this team's. There was a news segment. I forget what news station it was, but there was a news segment of practice, and it actually showed a board that was the Blazers' offensive and defensive staples. And one of the 3 offensive staples listed on the board was put pressure on the rim. I'm paraphrasing, but basically I think it was attack the rim is what it was. And then another one was play fast. So I want to see that, because that's apparently what the coaching staff wants to see, because that's what they said was an offensive staple. So Devin Ford says Sharp instantly makes us a top 1 most athletic team. Not gonna lie. I mean, yeah, but you know, it's not just him, man. It's not just, I mean, Sharp might be the most athletic player in the league, but Scoot, Ant, Robert Williams III, DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant's solid. You know, like, you got some athletes. The only negative athlete in our rotation is probably Malcolm Brogdon, but he's a guard. It's fine. Like, he's a more steady-paced old man's type of game, which is actually kind of fun to watch in a way. You know, he's closer to the Andre Miller mold than the, you know, the Shaedon Sharp mold. So, yeah, I want to see this team use his athleticism in transition, having designed cuts, designed lobs to get the ball towards the rim for someone in the half court. I want to see more of that. Leave a like on the stream. Helps out the stream. We're at 69, which is a nice number, but let's get it up to 100. And I'll take a couple questions from chat before we move on. We're definitely going to talk about Jabari Walker. We're going to talk about Chris Murray a little bit. And a couple other things that we still need to get to. Once again, if you're just tuning in, Eric is off for the night. And once again, this stream is brought to you by BetUS. If you want to put down anything on a futures bet, BetUS has really good futures. There's a link in the description box below. You can get a 125% bonus as well. So if you're feeling confident going into the season, definitely take advantage of that. There's a link in the description, which is our link, so it helps us out. And you can have some fun. You know, I want to hear you guys saying you had some success with BetUS at the end of the season, or just keeping us posted in chat. So definitely use that link down in the description box below. Thank you to BetUS for being our sponsor this season. Did we play zone? Yeah, we did play zone. So I don't even remember who was at the top, because that was a main talking point. Last season was like the Blazers had their 2 forwards at the top, so the bottom 2 guys in the 2-3 were Dame and Ant a lot of times, and it's just really hard in the NBA to defend that way, because when the center would go up and guard the high post, which is basically the free throw line area, it would take the big away from the rim, and the 2 outside guys at the bottom have to crash in towards the rim to deal with stuff around there. So a lot of times there's just high-low, throwing it down to a guy who had Dame on him or Ant on him, and a lot of times rebounding-wise, like, Dame and Ant would get out-rebounded because they're guards playing the bottom of a 2-3. So that is something to look for this year. If they're running 2-3 zone, like, where are the guards playing? Are they playing at the top like most teams would play them? Or are they playing down below, and are they getting killed because of it? The first play they went to zone, they just gave up a wide open dunk. Literally, the middle of the paint was just completely wide open. I think it was Moses Brown in there, and he just didn't mark the big in the middle of the paint, and they just threw the ball to the big, and then he dunked. And I think he got an and one. And it was just completely awful. It was awful. I don't know if we ran zone after that. Like, it just looked terrible. And me and Eric had a long conversation about zone defenses a few days ago on a stream, and it's just, as a wrinkle, it's fine. And in the preseason, like, sure, throw it out there, work on it a little bit. Man, it better not be more than 2-3 possessions in a row during the regular season. Because we ran the zone okay last year, but it still would get picked apart after 2 or 3 possessions because the same things, the same cuts, getting the ball to the same spots are how you beat a zone. Like, there's specific weaknesses that you just have to exploit, and getting multiple chances to exploit those weaknesses, you get a feel for it offensively. You're able to figure it out, and you're able to get a rhythm, and you're able to start picking apart a zone. Especially in the NBA where a bunch of guys can shoot, and the floor is more space than ever, so it's more area for defenders to cover. Like, zone, there's a reason why zones don't really work in the NBA. You also got defensive 3 seconds, which Moses Brown got one in the first minute and a half in this game. He also got an inbound violation in the first minute and a half. That's pretty impressive. In a minute and a half, Moses Brown, to start this game, got an inbound violation and a defensive 3 seconds. Should have went for a kick ball, too. Seen how many violations he could rack up. But, yeah, zone did not look good. And if you're a super athletic team, do you want to be playing a lot of zone? I mean, I guess you can cover that ground a little faster, but I don't know. I want to see this defense be aggressive, and I feel like a zone is more passive. You can play it in ways that are aggressive. You can try and trap out of it, but in the NBA, guys pick that apart. And the first time we ran it, it got picked apart, not even because the offense did anything good, because I don't know what we were doing. It's bad. If you know what play I'm talking about, you know what I mean. It was bad. So, which player has the best drip? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to pregame outfits. So, let's just say if I was an NBA player, I would be dressing a lot better than I actually do. You know, it's kind of, if you're in the NBA, you should embrace dressing fancy like that. It's just something about it, you know? Showing up to a game dripped out of your mind. Anyway, this is not a fashion show. This is a basketball show for a reason. I am not well-versed fashion-wise. Tori would dress like Jeremy. I think Jeremy pulls it off better than I could, though. I don't think I could pull it off quite the same way. How was Chris Murray? He had a nice move to get to the rim. I think it was a spin move or a Euro step. He loves the spin move, though. Finished a few lay-ins. Also had a pretty easy left-handed layup that he missed, and he is a lefty. So, past couple of games, there's been easy left-handed layups that he's missed, which you don't want to see that out of a power forward. 3 for 6. 0 for 1 from 3, and the 3 he missed was very, very short. I don't like assuming Chris Murray is going to be a good NBA three-point shooter. In college, he played 3 seasons. His freshman season, he barely played. Or his first season, he might have redshirted with how little he played. I'm not sure. His second season, he got a lot of quality three-point looks, shot, I believe, 39%. And then his final season in college was kind of the star, so took some tougher ones and was like 33% for his career, was a shade under 35% from the college three-point line. And Keegan Murray was a better three-point shooter in college than Chris Murray was. Like, Chris Murray is not in the same tier of shooter as Keegan Murray. Like, I don't think they are particularly close as shooters. I'm not trying to say Chris Murray can't come in here and shoot 38% from 3 his rookie year, but I think, you know, the assumption was Keegan, look at what he did last year. Chris Murray's going to come in and be a good NBA three-point shooter. And I don't think we should just assume that. So, I don't really have many opinions on Chris Murray right now. He didn't play a bunch. He played 13 minutes. For comparison, Kamara played 25 and Jabari Walker played 21. Chat, if you have other opinions on him, let me know in chat. But I don't really have many thoughts on Chris Murray right now. I just think it shouldn't have been assumed that he'd come in and be a good NBA shooter off the bat. I think he can be. I think he might be his rookie year, but it shouldn't have been assumed. And I feel like a lot of people just kind of assumed. And part of that was because of what Keegan Murray did last year. There's a comment in chat from SXKJX, aka Colt. What's up, Colt? Says, hiking on Kamara. Coaching/front office staffers have been raving about him behind the scenes since Santa Barbara. He's going to get minutes right away. Let's go. You love to hear it. You love to hear it. I love to hear it. Chat loves to hear it. 73% of them said they wanted him to play over Jabari and Chris Murray. I love Kamara. I hope he plays right away. He's fun. I think he can be legitimately good. And I love that it's not just, he played good in a couple preseason games. I love that, this is how he's looked all training camp. This is how he looked all summer league. And I love that the coaching staff is embracing it. And I love that it's not, we're going to play Jabari Walker because he was here last year and the other two guys are rookies. I love that it's not, we're going to play Chris Murray because he's making more money, because we drafted him in the first round and he's on a guaranteed contract. And Tamani Kamara was a guy we just brought him via trade, who we passed on with the 23rd pick and the 43rd pick when we took Ryan Rupert over him. I love that it's not a situation where they are just like stuck with what they're doing rotation-wise, and they're letting guys earn it, because by all accounts, Tamani Kamara is earning it. And them rewarding him for that is good. It's a good sign. It's a good sign. You know, in the past, we had other coaching staffs that would play Anthony Tolliver and Mario Hezonja over other young players that maybe weren't great young players, but you remember begging for Nasir Little to play over Mario Hezonja and Anthony Tolliver, and I know Nasir Little didn't pan out, but it was like, he was clearly not as bad as Mario Hezonja was. But Mario Hezonja got the chance because he's the veteran guy, and Nasir Little was the young guy. You guys remember that frustration? Like, I like that that's not really a thing in this situation, it sounds like, if that Hyken report is true. Blazer fan has a great point. Nasir Little is still in the NBA. Yeah, and those other guys were out of the NBA pretty dang quick. Pretty dang quick. I remember saying I hated the Hezonja signing, and, I was Mr. Negative. But, yeah. Eric's here to defend Chris Murray. He says, I think catch-and-shoot threes are different than what he was doing in college, is why people project Chris to be a decent shooter. Yes, but also it's deeper. Like, I'd have more confidence and be more okay with, like, assuming he's going to be a 37-38%er if he was shooting that percentage in college from a shorter three-point line. Like, we haven't seen enough of a sample size to have any opinion. I don't even have an opinion on his three-point shot right now. I don't know what he's going to shoot next year, but I'm not assuming it's going to be 37-38% from three, which I think is kind of the goal. I think if he's a 37-38%er, then he's a guy that's worth playing. But if he's 34-35%, I know it's a difference of only 3-4%, but in the end, a lot of games come down to 1 or 2 possessions, 4 or 5 points, right? Like, it makes a difference. Makes a difference. So, but yeah, Tamani Kamara, if he plays, I'm very happy with that, and I'm happy with the coaching staff making it a true position battle and not playing favorites based on who was here last year and who was drafted higher. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. Where Eric Brandt at? Is he listed as DNP tonight? Yeah, Eric Brandt is on the bench in street clothes right now. He's still cheering on the stream from the sidelines, but yeah, he is not in the game. It's all me. I'm putting things on my back tonight. Yeah, no, Eric will be back Monday, and I look forward to getting his thoughts on this game Monday and the final preseason game on Monday. So we'll kind of wrap up our wrap up preseason on Monday with Eric. That'll probably be a little bit longer stream than the past couple have been. Looking forward to it. Tori doing the 1v0 instead of the 2v0. Yeah. Actually, sometimes, with the way chat can get, it's 1v like 100 or 2v 100. And me and Eric just can't control it at all. So, but chat's been enjoyable. I'm looking forward to the season, man. Looking forward to hopefully seeing Toumani Camara play. Like, that's the type of guy that makes a season fun, even if the team struggles a little bit. Because seeing guys like that surprise people and play well and like earn a spot in the league is pretty cool. A guy who, he's from Belgium, doesn't have much of a basketball history, and he wants to like kind of put that country on the map a little bit. That's pretty cool. So those storylines are what makes sports fun when only 1 out of 30 teams win championships. It's really hard to win a championship, right? You got to enjoy the other things. And that's, seeing guys like that make a name for themselves in the league is something that I enjoy and something that I think is pretty cool. So, rooting for him. I think, he should definitely get minutes. And he was the first guy off the bench tonight. He played the most minutes out of those 3 power forwards. I don't know, though. I don't think the Blazers expected him to be better than Jabari Walker or Chris Murray. Otherwise, why wouldn't they have drafted him at 43 instead of Repair? You know what I mean? Then again, maybe they saw what he did in Summer League and was like, oh man, looks good. Especially when they supposedly started negotiating the DeAndre Ayton part of the trade back in mid-July, which is when Summer League was. Have to wonder if Toumani Camara's Summer League performance caught the eye of this Blazers front office. And if it did, props to them for seeing that and getting him in the Ayton trade. Like, just flat out props. Because I don't think Phoenix just wanted to give him up with how he played for them in Summer League. But then again, how many times do we say you can't base too much off Summer League? Well, sometimes you can. So. Let's talk about Jabari, though, since we're kind of on the topic. He looks springier. He looks... I don't know, he just looks more athletic. And it's not like he's a huge positive as an athlete, but last year there was times where he felt like he is a little bit stuck in mud. And he did talk about improving his body this year, where he's put on some muscle, but I also think he's leaned out a little bit. Because he had one of the higher body fat percentages in the draft, just based on draft combine measurements, because that's something that they measure. And I think it was like 13%. Which... the Miami Heat supposedly have a mark where you have to be below 9% body fat. If you're not, I don't know what they do, but that's the rule for them, right? And what I've always said with Eric is, if somebody has a really high body fat percentage in the draft, but they're still draft worthy based on how they've played, I actually might think that's a positive and not a negative, because that just means their body has more room for improvement. Whereas somebody that their body's already optimized and they already have strength and they're leaned out, that, is a second round prospect, how much improvement are you going to get out of them as a player from improving their body? Probably not much. Jabari Walker is different, though, because his body had a lot of room for improvement. And I think this preseason, you've already seen him look a little bit springier. He got fouled on a play where he went up strong and actually got off the ground. So it's just a couple plays, but he just, less stiff is a good comment from Fanatum, who says more loose. He was stiff last year. Yeah, he doesn't look as stiff. He had a couple nice drives in this game, too, where he was actually able to get a little bit of a step off the dribble. You would like to see him not go 0 for 4 from 3, but, I think the shot will come at some point. If he's able to finish more athletically around the rim and actually be able to put the ball on the floor and get by guys a little bit, he's already a smart player. He'll make the right pass. That's good progression for Jabari Walker. And he's still young. He spent 2 years in college, but I believe he's still 21. Yeah, he's still 21 years of age. He turned 21 on July 30th, so he's barely 21 years old. So, as a multi-year college guy, you know, it always feels like those guys are a little bit older, but Jabari Walker's still very young. He still has a lot of time to become a true NBA contributor, and I like some of the steps that he's taken this preseason. Just knocked down a couple threes last game, I believe. Maybe it was just one, but I do think his shot's going to make progress, and then being able to put the ball on the floor and being a little bit more athletic is going to help him for sure. He already rebounds the ball great, and this team is going to need help rebounding. So 7 rebounds in 21 minutes, like pound for pound, he's probably the best rebounder on this team. So I do think at some point this season, both he and Kamara will get opportunities at the same time, whether it's injury, whether it's a Jeremy Grant trade, whether it's, you know, somebody gets benched. I don't know how it happens, but I do think that at some point there will be room to give both those guys minutes, because that's kind of the thing with like Kamara looking so good is it's not like Jabari Walker has played bad and played himself out of an opportunity. It's just Toumani Kamara has come in and looked great and earned himself an opportunity. But Jabari Walker seemingly has done all the right things to improve his body and get his game to a point where he could be in the conversation for a backup power forward spot. So Eric says, oh, they for sure thought Chris would run away with it. Yeah, Chris is third right now, Eric, in my opinion, and chat feels the same way. I did a poll earlier, don't know if you were here for it, but 73% said they wanted Kamara out of the 3, 20% said they wanted Jabari Walker, 4% said Chris Murray. And that's not even necessarily a knock on Chris Murray. It's just Jabari Walker has improved his body and seems a little bit more ready, and Toumani Kamara's looked great, you know? And that's the thing out of a positional battle and competition like that, is hopefully it brings out the best in everyone. Motivates guys to work, right? Motivates them to take preseason seriously. So that's the thing, is stuff like that shouldn't be a negative, it should be a positive. And I think with those 3 guys, it's been a positive. So I love that positional battle. I will have a full breakdown on that positional battle at some point. Because how many times going into the season we have like the same team and we don't have a positional battle to talk about? And like 3 similar young players where one of them will get rotation minutes off the bat. It's kind of nice. It's kind of new, because we don't often have that. We didn't have a ton of turnover during the Damian Lillard era. So I do like that. Did I forget to talk about anyone? Rupert played 8 minutes, basically did nothing, had a couple assists, 3 rebounds, didn't really notice him. Skylar Mays was pretty rough tonight. He did have 3 steals, but 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 for 8 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. I don't like him taking 8 shots in 12 minutes. I'd like him to be a little bit more of a floor general and feed guys who are shooting the ball well, like Toumani Kamara. But of course I want Toumani Kamara to get more shots, man. Maybe I should just get a Kamara jersey at this point. But yeah, Skylar Mays did not look the best, but he's on a 2-way contract. Like, who cares? Who cares? If they trade Malcolm Brogdon, maybe he gets moved up to a normal contract. Depends on how he plays in the G League. He's going to be playing for the Remix, so if you want to see Skylar Mays shoot 20 times a game, he might be getting 20 shots a game in the G League. Who knows? But the Remix will be right down the street at the University of Portland. So we will get an opportunity to see some Skylar Mays this year, if that's what you're looking for. As far as the Jazz, Markkanen looked good. Taylor Hendricks got 12 minutes. Didn't really do much with them. Did hit a 3, though. Keontae George, 3 for 6 from 3 in 23 minutes, 4 for 8 from the field. 17 points. He looked really good in Summer League. He's a rookie who had a high body fat percentage coming into the draft, who's already improved his body from where he was in college to where he is now, and he looked good in Summer League and is looking good right now. I think he could end up being a steal. So those high body fat percentage guys are guys that I maybe would target. It sounds so counterintuitive, but I truly think there's something to that. Where is John Butler? I don't know. Also haven't seen Ibu Baji. Those guys haven't played at all in the preseason. So maybe next game, in our final game, they'll get some run. I could see us benching all the starters next preseason game. He wasn't at FanFest. He's been gone and is still rostered. I don't know then. John Butler needs more body fat percentage. Yeah, I mean, he needs to put on some weight for sure. Tori, you not going to a preseason game this year? I mean, there's only one preseason game left, and it's in Phoenix, so no. I'm not going down to Phoenix for preseason. Is Baji or Brown for our third center? Brown, because he's on a main roster contract. Actually, I think he's on Exhibit 10, but, like, Baji's already on a two-way. And it's not like they've played Baji, they've played Brown. So, Tori, do you know your body fat percentage? If I did, I wouldn't share it with y'all. That's all I know. I sprained my ankle, couldn't play for 3 weeks, and definitely gained some pounds. So I need to work on that. Just like Jabari did. Jabari is inspiring me. I'll figure it out. Condit getting cut? Or yeah, that's just so random that they signed George Condit out of the blue in the middle of training camp. I don't know what they're doing. It's probably just, this is what you do when you have a G League team that we don't really notice because we've never had a G League team, but now this year we got a G League team, so I don't know. I expect him to play for the remix. Do you guys... Okay. I'm going to do a channel-related question since we're on the topic of the remix. Do you guys want remix-related content at all this year? Yes or no? And if you want remix-related content, how do you want us to do it? Do you want me to do occasional videos on it? Do you want us to talk about it on our podcast? Because we have 5 podcasts a week now. Like, how do you want us to mix it in? Because I am definitely down to keep you guys posted with some G League stuff. Just kind of wondering what the best way to do it is. So let me know in chat. Because we're nerdy over here, you know? We like to cover that sort of stuff. So we will. Just want to figure it out, you know? Yeah, maybe like a 5-minute segment on Blazers Uprise Live or something. Maybe it can be on other podcasts too. Yeah, I don't know. Zach says you should have made an option for don't care because it doesn't really matter to me either way. That's how you don't vote then. If you don't care, don't vote. But we got 52 votes, 83% said yes. Okay, yeah, we will have some sort of we will cover the remix. Obviously we're going to cover like the G League Ignite and how prospects are playing because we always cover the draft, but we will cover the remix as well. YouTube Shorts, yeah, that could be a way to do it. Remix recap. I like that. Remix recap. Yeah, we'll get you covered with that. Anything else from this game that you guys think I missed or that you guys wanted to talk about? And then I'll take questions. But before we hop into the rest of the show, this stream is brought to you by Manta Sleep Mask. Good old Manta Sleep Mask. Let me grab my sleep mask. Because I didn't have it close to me. I always have it close to me. You guys know them. I talk about them all the time. They're a great company. Really make for good gifts. Okay, this specific ad read is for all you people that procrastinate your Christmas shopping. Because believe it or not, Christmas is in about 2 months, right? And what's better than being late on your Christmas shopping and trying to find something on Christmas Eve, which I've done before, and I know a lot of you have done before, is being early, actually. Because nothing says you can't buy a Christmas gift in October. And what makes for a better gift than a Manta Sleep Mask showing someone you love or care about that you care about their sleep, that you care about their health. So get yourself a Manta Sleep Mask for someone you care about. Like, everyone, you know, has mothers, fathers, sisters, sons, daughters. They make kids sleep masks too. Get your loved ones a gift of sleep. About the best gift that you could give them. And also, I don't really show off the website much. This is the website. Do you guys think... Where's it at here? Should I get these glasses? Should I rock these on stream? I've talked about it. I just need to do it. I think, I don't know. I think I could pull these off. Blue light glasses, so they're healthy. They block melatonin disrupting blue light. So if you're on screens, if you're watching Blazers Uprise post-game shows at 12 p.m. at night while you try and fall asleep, you can put on some blue light glasses so you can fall asleep a little faster. I know we do a decent job sometimes of putting people to sleep, but these glasses can help you out. I think I should rock some of them. Anyway, you get a 10% discount by clicking the link in the description box below using the promo code UPRISE. These are all the products they got. Anyway, thank you to them for sponsoring this show. Once again, don't say I didn't try and help you out if you procrastinated your Christmas shopping. I'm trying to save you from stressing on December 24th. So do it now before you forget. Thank you to them. And thank you to BetUS. Braden says... They're ugly. They're sleep masks, bro. Oh, you're talking about the glasses. Nah, I like the glasses. I'll let the hair flow, you know. Put on my forehead a little bit with glasses like that. Yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll make them work. I'll make them work. Eric Olson says, "Can I get that girl too?" No, I don't think she comes included with the glasses. I don't think that's how it works. But there's only one way to find out. Buy them and let me know. Anyway, we're going to be live again on Monday. I might do a preview tomorrow with Gabe. He's trying to get me to do a preview stream tomorrow on Suns Valley Podcast, which is our Suns friends. Their channel is popping right now. Their growth has been insane to watch. They're probably going to pass... They might pass us up at some time. You know, it helps when you got freaking Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. And Yusuf Nurkic on your team. That's a big four, right? So, might preview some of that. Talk Tamani Kamara. Like, I'll probably just go on their stream and say how great Tamani Kamara is and just thank them for giving us him. That candle behind me is going to fall. It's driving you nuts. Nah, it's not going to fall. It's been there forever. It's next to my... Do you see the wood with Wemby? The wood for Wemby? You guys remember the wood for Wemby? Still got it back there. But yeah, Suns Valley Podcast. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to hop on and talk some of that because we play them on Monday. And then after the preseason, I do plan on doing an off-season recap. So, like, I've started doing 2 recaps a year, one for the offseason, one for the season, and I want that to be like a chronological thing where you can go back and see how things went and the emotions behind things as Blazer fans, like in chronological order. So each video is like 35 to 45 minutes is the goal, and it includes stream highlights, some narration, and it can be something that like 10 years from now, we can go back and see how the 2023 offseason went, the 2024 offseason went, you know, the 2024-2025 regular season, and just have like a really good timeline a decade from now when I'm still going to be doing this. Maybe by then we will be a Miami Heat channel though. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. But yeah, I do plan on doing an off-season recap. It's just with how long the Dame saga took, we didn't really have time before the start of the season. I'm still building graphics and doing a ton. Like, my life is crazy right now. So it's not just an opinionated vid, just a breakdown. I mean, we're including, like, our thoughts on how things went down from stream highlights. If you haven't seen one, go watch the, like, regular season recap that I dropped back in April. That's kind of the style of things. So yeah, like, our opinions are included. It's not, you know, just like, if you could go to Wikipedia and find information on each season for the Blazers. It's not just going to be like a Wikipedia article where it's just fact-based, right? Like, we're going to have our opinions in that. So, But those are always fun. Still plan on doing those. Still plan on doing video content. Podcast-wise, still putting together Uprise Roundtable. I know I said I was going to do that this week. That we're going to do next week, and that'll just be a season preview. Just got a ton of stuff right now to get ready for the start of the season. It's always a ton of work to get ready for the start of the season, and then once the season gets rolling, it's a little easier. Also, 503 podcast. So if you guys know 503 Blazer fans on Twitter, they were supposed to drop their first podcast on Tuesday. They tried, or no, it was on Wednesday, I think it was. Tuesday or Wednesday. The first time they tried to record, 503's computer crashed. His name is Noah, by the way. I need to start calling him Noah. But you guys know him as 503 on Twitter. He's pretty big. And then the next day they tried to record, Chase's whole street flooded and power went out because of a wicked storm. He's down in Florida. So that podcast will debut next week. I'm going to make sure we get something out from them next week. But had Scorching Trails last night. That was nice. On Monday, we'll have Blazers Uprise Live. Actually, that'll just be a post-game show for the preseason. Then on Tuesday, we'll get that 503 podcast. On Wednesday, Hoops Crush. And we'll get ready for the start of the season. So that is kind of the content plan. I'll still keep dropping videos. I need to drop videos just because we got some cool sponsors this year and got some sponsorship obligations now. So actually, it's helping bring you guys more content. So support our sponsors. It helps support us, supports them, and it gets you guys more content. So it's like a triple win. Leave a like on your way out of this. We reached 100 likes. Good to see it. Helps out the channel. And I think that's a wrap. There's the Manta Sleep Mask link and code down in the description box below. Same thing for BetUS if you want to get in on any action. Bets for the season, championship bets, NBA season awards bets, maybe a Rookie of the Year award bet for Scoot Henderson, or Malcolm Brogdon's next team you can also bet on. So there's a lot of fun stuff. And we're going to be doing some fun things with BetUS this season, so shout out to them. Also, do you guys like this overlay? This money overlay, do you guys like it? I was pretty happy when I built it. So, I've built it for some other creators who also are working with BetUS. Was pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty cool. Eric Olson says it's money. Absolutely. So anyway, thank you to Braden Tennis for the donation earlier. I appreciate you. Looking forward to this season. One more preseason game, and then all the games count. And we'll have you covered every step along the way as we head into our 5th season of post-game shows. 5th season of the channel. That's crazy. Makes me feel kind of old. But we're going to keep things coming for you guys. Thank you for all your support. With that being said, that's a wrap for this edition of the Blazers Uprise post-game show. And until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.